Welcome back everyone, I'm Genevieve Moongarden, and it's been quite an adventure trying to get all these spells upgraded, taken care of, etc. Especially with the changes. So, let's go, because my ice has been waiting for quite a while. Now the changes that I'm going to be listing are directly from Kyle Ice Wielder's message in the forum. They have a wonderful list of each and every school explaining all of the different spell changes. Thank you so much for that. And first up on their list is Frost Beetle, and these are only going to be the bottom path of the Arc 1 spells to start out with, because the top path wasn't changed. The Frost Beetle used to be 2 pips, now it's 1 pip. It used to do 150 damage, now it does 65 damage. The secondary effect used to be a minus 25% universal shield, now there's none, but now it gambits positive ward and gives a minus 65% enemy school shield. So that's pretty nice. Personally, I prefer universal when you're fighting enemies of different schools, but this works as well. So if you already have a shield on you, it's a cheap hit that gives you another shield for the target's particular school. Alright, it takes 115 spellments to get up to tier 3. Let's go. Yes, upgrade it. Now it's going to be doing 65 damage, still clearing 1 shield for 55% enemy school shield. So the damage stays the same on the bottom, but the shield goes up by 5 each time you upgrade it. That might not sound like a lot, but when you have a minus 65, that's nice. Very nice. And it takes 190 spellments to get to tier 4, pretty far away from that. Next up is Snow Serpent. Previously it was 3 pips, now it costs 2 pips. It used to do 95 damage, now it does 150. The secondary effect used to give you 255 absorbs, but now it doesn't give you those. Now it gambits a negative ward and gives you a minus 20% universal weakness, 2 of those. So the card says it clears a trap on them, then gives them a weakness, and then hits them. So that possibly is the more correct order of how it does that. And then needs 115 spellments to get to tier 3, in which the damage goes up by 5 and the weaknesses stay the same. And that's the same for all of these tiers on the lower path. The weaknesses all stay at 20% weaknesses, but the damage goes up by 5 each time. Let's upgrade. Alright. And then it takes 190 spellments to get to tier 4. Next up on their list is Evil Snowman. So this one used to hit and give you a 60% enemy school shield. Now it doesn't give you that. Now instead it clears 1 or 2 negative charms, and then it gives 1 or 2 minus 25% enemy school shield and 1 or 2 plus 25% ice traps. I like that it gives both. That's nice. Costs 75 spellments to get to tier 2. Let's go. Yes. If you're able to choose, just make sure you're choosing the right one before you click yes. And we have just the right amount to get it to tier 3, in which the damage goes up by 10. And then the shield and trap amount doesn't change. For tier 4, the damage stays the same, the shield and trap amounts go up by 5%. And then for tier 5, the damage goes up by 10, and the trap and shield amounts stay the same. Yes! And then it costs 190 spellments to get to tier 4. Next up on their list is Ice Wyvern. So the damage changed from 295 to 325, still costing 4 pips. And of course the numbers that they're referring to is the very top tier, tier 5. It used to clear 1 positive charm and give a 30% ice trap. Now it clears 1 or 2 positive charms and gives 1 or 2 plus 45% ice traps. So this one definitely got a boost. It does more damage and it clears more positive charms and potentially gives more higher amount ice traps. Very nice. Alright, 75 spellments to get it to tier 2. Let's go. Choose the right one. Let's do it. And then 115 more spellments to get it to tier 3. Damage is going to go up by 10 on either end, and it's still going to give 40% traps. However, once you bump up to tier 4, the damage goes up a little bit, but the trap goes up by 5%. And then for tier 5, the damage goes up a little bit more, and the trap stays at 45%. Let's do it. Yes. And then 190 more spellments to get it to tier 4. Next, alrighty, Blighthound. So this one, the damage went down a little bit from 455 to 440. Previously, if the enemy had 1 to 4 positive charms, it gave you an incrementally larger amount of damage, 75, 150, 225, or 300 damage. Now, they changed it to if the caster has 1 to 3 negative charms, it does 150, 300, or 450 additional damage. And 75 spellments to get to tier 2. Let's go. Yes. That's nice. Weaknesses are very common to get put on you, so that's always good. And it looks like I'm pretty far away from getting into tier 3. Yeah, ice doesn't tend to drop as much as some of the other schools, interesting enough. Same thing with life. Life and ice really don't drop that much comparatively to other spellements when you're farming. At least for me. Last up for the Arc 1 spellements is Colossus. And this one had the damage increased. It used to do at max 560, now it does 585. And previously, if the caster had a positive ward, it did 205 more damage. Now it gambits 1 to 3 positive wards and then gives 1 to 3 plus 65% ice traps. It's definitely liking the trapping. 'Cause I'm a trapping man. Already 75 spellements to get it to tier 2. Yes. And it'll definitely be a while before we're getting out to tier 3 for 115 spellements. At tier 3, the trap stays the same, but the damage goes up. At tier 4, the trap goes up and the damage goes up a little bit. And tier 5, the trap stays at 65% and the damage goes up by 15 to 585. Next up on their list are the lore spells. First up is Angry Snow Pig. We're not able to upgrade this one, but it does have different paths now. All versions used to cost 4 pips and now they cost 2 pips and an ice pip. The base, which is tier 1, and the top path went from no restrictions and now it's no PvP. So you'd have to get it to tier 2 just to be able to use it in PvP. And the bottom path, which is a new one, it used to just have one path all the way across. It says it pushes a negative charm and then does damage. While the card says it steals a shield and then does damage, which that's kind of nice too. But I do like stealing that shield. That's very nice. And it looks like the damage is exactly the same on every tier. So just say tier 2 is 270 to 330. It is also 270 to 330 on the bottom. And the damage goes up a little bit as you are upgrading it. And I will need 115 spellements to get it to tier 3. Celestial Intervention. Yeah. Even though it's hard to get ice spellements dropped from bosses, I will tell you the weekly spellement pack sure like to drop the Celestial Intervention. That's why it's already tier 3. Seriously. And all versions changed from 4 pips to 2 pips and an ice pip. The top path and the base path, tier 1, are now no PvP. The top path, you're getting a 240 heal per shield that you sacrifice, max of 3. And they took away the bottom path, which increased the amount of shields that you could sacrifice. This one just gives you 10 more heal each time you upgrade it per shield sacrificed, max of 3. However, the bottom path got changed. Now it gives a protected absorb of 925. Yeah, none of those say 925. That's a little wrong. I think some of their numbers might have been a little bit wrong on their list. This says max of 985. Yes. Oh yes. Because it used to, depending on which tier you had, it used up 1 to 6 positive wards and giving 180 heal per ward. Well, I mean, that's much less than 240 to 270, but you could do that with up to 6 of them, so that was pretty cool. Now it just gives you a massive absorb, and that is PvP acceptable. Let's upgrade this, by the way. I still like the heal, because ice doesn't have heals, so I go for the heal. Yes, you're bootyful. Yes, 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 yes! Massive healer. And I like to use this with like either a free or really cheap like spiritual shields or elemental shields, and then you can use the shields that you're not using from the enemy who doesn't hit with that school. It's so nice. I mean, I did use the spell before, but I think they finally made it to where other people would want to use the spell, I think. And then it's going to take 190 spellements to get to tier 4, and that one will do 260 per shield. Up to 3. And next up, Handsome Fomori. This is not getting upgraded today, but I will talk about the different changes. So all versions went from 5 pips to 3 pips and an ice pip. The base and the top path went from no restrictions to no PvP. The bottom path, however, is new, because as before, the lore spells used to just have one path. Now it does damage and then gives a minus 40% storm accuracy. Which is horrible for storms, but why did it have to be storm only? I don't get it. But the top path, if you want to use that, so I guess if you want to use this for PvP, you really just want to use it against the storm, I guess, because I much prefer the universal negative accuracy. So much better. 25%, that's still really bad for a storm. Some storm spells are 60% accuracy, so... Woo. Next up, Reindeer Knight. I got barely any spell and drop from Krampus. You. Sneaky, sneaky enemy. So all versions of Reindeer Knight went from 5 pips, now costing 3 pips and 1 ice pip. The tier 1 and the top path have gone from no restrictions to no PvP. The bottom path, however, went from 250 damage, now it does 295 damage, and it gives minus 50% universal shield, or at tier 3, minus 60 universal shield. So nice. And it's good that the top path still does damage and then damage over time, whereas the bottom path is straight damage. Interesting. And the bottom path is PvP allowed. This one is really nice, but I love the amount of damage that Reindeer Knight does. Oh, and by the way, it still hits everyone, so yeah, it never got upgraded to where it hits everyone all at once, like Deer Knight did. I wish they would do that. And finally for the lore spells, Winter Moon. It used to cost 5 pips, and now it costs 4 pips and an ice pip, and the damage went from a max of 535 to now 605. It still stuns for 1 round. And 2 of the shadow spells got changed. First one being Shatterhorn. The top path has been changed to no PvP, and the bottom path, pip cost went from 3 pips to 5 pips, and the damage went up a lot from a max of 620 to now a max of 810 to 930 damage. And still taunting for 3 rounds on both of these. So the way they change these is the top path stays the same, it's just no PvP, going up 1 regular pip each time, keeping that 1 shadow pip requirement. However, the bottom path, instead of going down by 1 regular pip each time, it stays at 5 and the damage went way up, which, you know, I can live with that. And then Freeze Ray. The top path went from no restrictions to now it's no PvP. And it still followed the same amount where it's 6 pips and then it goes up to 7 pips and then 8 pips. The bottom path, however, cost went from 4 pips to 6 pips, of course, at the max tier. Yeah, it's kind of weird that this one got changed. This one is probably one of the only ones. I mean, the damage did go up from what it did before, but it's not even close to this amount that you're still getting for 6 pips. But it does give a minus 30% mantle. Universal, by the way. Ouch, for those of us storms who have really low accuracy to begin with. Oh, and by the way, let's upgrade this one. Ooh, that accuracy is really nice though. Oh, and of course it still hits everyone. Now wait a second. Does that, it gives the minus accuracy to everyone, right? You know, I think for once I'm gonna go with the bottom path. I think so. Yeah. Let's do it. That one looks more fun. Oh yes. I might not be doing 1,000, but guess what? I could put epic on there and it's almost 1,000 anyway. And then it'll be 115 more spellments to get it to tier 3, which is the max tier for these spells. Alrighty, now it's not over here in the spellment section, but there's one other ice spell that did get changed. And that one is cooldown. It went from no restrictions to no PvP. Because I guess they don't want you taking any rounds off of those DOTs. That was a lot of spells to upgrade. Frost Beetle, Snow Serpent, Celestial Intervention, Freeze Ray, Evil Snowman, Ice Wyvern, Blighthound, and Colossus. Thanks so much everyone for checking out this upgrading of all of the ice spells that I can with the Spellements and checking out the spell audit changes for December of 2022. I know I'm going to have a lot of fun testing out the new versions of these spells. So thanks so much for checking out this video and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!